Agent A, Agent B, same exact lead. It's just how you. No, but yeah, great month, guys. Really, a lot of winners. I could go down again. A lot of 25K over, a lot of 95% attendance. So many things I just really want to appreciate you guys with, because it was just there's different moments in agencies, business careers, or in personal people's careers where things happen, where it's like a challenge, and how you respond to that and how you step up or fold, it really determines the next few years. This was definitely a challenging month for me, but we overcame it. Okay, here we are. We're looking forward to the future. So I just want to share with you guys how to overcome obstacles. That's going to be kind of the topic of today's meeting, because obstacles are going to happen. The only way to avoid it is if you're not doing anything. So if you're always working and if you're always trying to get to the next level, then you're going to run into problems. Okay, and these problems are our opportunity for us to learn from them. Okay, so they're going to come. So how you deal with obstacles? So for our situation, I'll use this as a lot of example today. Is I had some unloyal people, some unethical people, cheating and stuff like that, and it was a problem, because there were some of them were contributors too, and some of them weren't. But it was a problem. But maybe you guys could think of another situation that you're going through personally, a challenge, an obstacle, a problem, and not exactly this wouldn't fit, but these 3 steps I think will help overcome many of the obstacles that you may be going through, or maybe it will help you prepare for the next one when it does come, because that's life, right? It's gonna come. All right, so the first thing first, what do you want to do here? What do you guys want to think?
Be optimistic.
Be optimistic, okay? A lot of times when you have a problem, right, you really want to put your attention to what you're gonna get out of this problem. The outcome that's a positive outcome. Because a lot of times people would just put way too much emphasis on the problem, and then they dwell on it and to get negative, and they're just not able to put attention to the solution. They're probably putting too much attention to the problem, and you're just going down a downward spiral. If you're optimistic, this is going to come out of this situation, then you're going to be able to get yourself out of that situation. So being optimistic, being hopeful, and just positive thinking is a big part of it. Any other things?
Being adaptable.
Being adaptable, yeah. Being adaptable, okay. Gotta have a plan and adapt to it. Okay, so we'll get there. Okay, so the first thing I have here for us is to take accountability. Okay. A lot of people don't even get here. When you have a challenge or an obstacle or a challenge, a lot of times we put ourselves in that situation. Okay. A lot of people will be like, that's not my fault. It's like blah, blah, blah. Like I could have been like, like they're cheating. Well, it's not my fault. They were cheating. Like, the parents should have taught them not to lie. I could have blamed them. But anytime you're in a problem situation, you want to reflect a little bit and say like, I didn't talk about ethics enough. Or I didn't do any disciplinary actions early on enough. I didn't do certain things that I could have done better as a leader. So that kind of sucks to say like, it's my fault. But I'd rather say that because I'm taking control of the situation. So I know next time I'm like, okay, well, if I don't want that to happen, then I'll do this. And I'm giving control to myself. So that way you're actually feeling more happy because you have control over it. If you blame somebody else or the other situation, then you feel helpless. It's because you have no control. You're just a victim of whatever that's happening. You're just like, shit, bad things are keeping happening to me, because you're not taking any accountability and looking at yourself and saying, maybe because I need to switch something up here. So it depends on the challenge, because it could be very, it's very different. Every challenge is a little different. But if you look hard enough, you'll probably find an opportunity where you can grow. For any opportunity or any challenge you're going through, you'll find something where like, okay, well, this is an opportunity for me to adapt, like you said. But if you don't take accountability, you're not doing that. That's not my fault. It's not my fault. And you just get into a situation where you're not growing. Making excuses don't help anyone except for your ego. Okay, so I could have come up with a bunch of excuses, but I'll take my L. Like, I don't want to give away that L to somebody else. I want to keep my L's because those are my lessons. I made mistakes, I shouldn't have hired that person that already quit. Like, why would I give her another chance? Like, you know what I mean? Or like, there's another one where it's like, red flags all over. I'm just like, oh man, I don't want to go through recruiting, and I don't want to freaking train. It's just like so much work. Like, I'm just like kind of lazy, to be honest with you. Like I'll tell you that to you guys. I don't like to say that, but I was lazy. Like person had a bunch of red flags, and I was just like, okay, let's just keep her because I'm just.
Excuses.
Huh?
She's already here.
She's already here. Maybe it should change. I should have, stepped it up and been like, okay, this is unacceptable, and not tolerate some stuff, and then be like, okay, time to make a change. I'm gonna freaking go through the recruiting process. I'm gonna train somebody because it's a lot of work, but I gotta step up to the plate here. But these are some lessons I'm learning. So next time I see something, I'm gonna be like, or sometimes someone's kind of like slacking off, I'm gonna be like earlier on, like disciplining them and stuff like that, or so they're not surprised when I just all of a sudden do it. So there's a lot of lessons I learned. Okay, so if you guys are going through obstacles, number one, take accountability, reflect a little bit. Okay, so you have some opportunity to learn. So number two is to just move on. Okay, people get stuck here too. Okay, just can't move on. Like we just have to move on. Like Laura said, just have to adapt. It's important to reflect a little bit, but maybe sometimes people take a little bit too much time reflecting and playing victim and be like, oh, poor me. Like, oh, like I hear this from other agents, like, oh, nobody wants to work hard these days. Like nobody wants to work anymore. Like, or like people go through breakups and they can't move on because like, oh, everybody's like, bad. Every guy in the whole world is bad, or like, you just like play victim, right? So I think it's maybe easier said than done. But for me, what I had to do was get unemotional. Like it was no time for me to be like, poor me, like, or like this sucks, or get, thinking emotionally, because you guys would have suffered. Like I'm pissed off all the time, or like my family would have suffered. Like what do they deserve for me to be pissed off at them for? So being unemotional is easier said than done, but you got to be unemotional so you could clear your head on what you need to do, because bad attitude is bad for business. So I don't want to go there. Okay, so you just want to move on. All right, number 3, plan and take massive action. Just like anything else in life, if you have a difficult situation, you have to strategize, reflect on what you did wrong, move on from it, plan, strategize, and then execute. A lot of times taking action solves a lot of problems. Execute, that keeps me motivated, that keeps me busy, so I'm not dwelling on anything anymore, I'm just moving forward, So that's another thing that, you want to strategize for. I think sometimes people go through some difficult challenges, difficult situations. They actually get into some coping mechanism that's not massive action. Some of these bad coping mechanism when their people are going through difficult times, that they go into drinking. They just want to get away from it. They don't want to take any massive action. They want to just like blame and then just start drinking because, I could have said I needed to drink last month. But that was not the time. That's not the time to be drinking. Like this is the time to step it up. A lot of times go through a difficult situation and they just really go in a bad situation. It's like, no, now's the time to step it up and really show you what you're made of, because the world's challenging you. This is really the time to step it up. These are some of the outcomes that we got out of this situation. I have this recruiting system I could just turn on and get a bunch of people now. Okay, I still have a lot of people I could talk to. We found freaking Carrie. She has 8 years of experience in the insurance game. Okay, we found Linda, who's been in Farmers for 3 years. I have all these other people we could talk to. We did 350K. We got America license. I mean, there's so many things that came out of this challenging month. Some of my principles are like, okay, well, I could have been like, well, the bad unethical behavior, maybe next time I won't discipline people because this might happen. It's like, no, I stick to my principles as far as, okay, no, if they're bad behavior has to be corrected a little bit with disciplinary actions. And, my principle always is if someone wants to quit, I'm not going to chase you. I'm going to replace you. So those are some of my principles. Hope this helps. If you guys, I'm not sure if you guys want to share anything or if you guys have any challenges that this could work for. If you guys have someone in your head, maybe, think about these, 3 steps. Maybe some of us are lucky enough to not have that type of, but this applies to business and in life. And I'm just going to add number 4, okay? A little bonus step here. It starts with an M, but it's not money.
Motivation.
Motivation, yeah. Okay, so you use the problem as motivation, okay? So this is a little contradictory because sometimes, I just said move on and I'll get emotional about it. But we're all human beings, so we're going to get emotional. If there is some emotions involved, I'm going to use that as a motivation for field to take more massive action. Okay, so there's a part of me that, motivates me to show them that, for the quitters, they made the wrong decision. And the way I do that, it motivates me to see you guys level up. Like when you guys level up in kind of a sick way, I get happy because you're leveling up, and then I'm not that I'm worried about their level, but I just like to see you guys leveling up so high compared to other people, the average people, or the quitters. Okay, so I just want to talk to you guys about leveling up a little bit. So there's two ways to level up that a lot of people look at. Okay, so everybody has buildings, right? So the building, this is like your building. So the building represents like, money, happiness, good family relationship, health, all the good stuff I talk about, stuff I'm about, right? Everybody's building is different, height-wise. That's how life is. Okay. Now, some people, like when they kind of compete by trying to bring other people down. Okay, so they'd rather have this building, they'd rather try to destroy this building, by same shit, typical hater stuff. It's because their building, they're so insecure about their own building that they don't feel the confidence that they could improve their situation. So rather than trying to improve their situation, they'll try to destroy other people's. The better way to build a bigger building, to me, is to not look at their building, but to just focus on your own. Just build a bigger building, and then don't even care about what the other small buildings are doing. As a team, this also applies too. I want to talk to you guys about, because other people are building their buildings. So as a team, we want to also encourage each other of building a bigger building. Okay, so sometimes you see it in sales organizations where someone's coming up and they're like, other people are like, no, like I don't want you to, or friends do it to themselves. Like they see someone coming up and like, no, I don't want you to be bigger than me because that makes me feel less about myself. So focus on our buildings, and leveling up is something that I want to do here. Okay, so any ideas on how we could level up? Helping each other out. Yeah, that's a great way. Okay, so office cultures, a lot of organizations have a lot of that. Have a lot of like trying to hold people back. Like helping each other out, helping all of our buildings get higher will consequently make our agency's building way higher. Okay, so helping each other out is a good one. Anything else?
I think sharing like what works for you with other people, because sometimes somebody else might know something you don't.
Nice, yeah. A lot of times when it comes to sharing what works for you, it helps you, like you're actually telling yourself too. So sometimes you tell somebody to do it, you're like, actually, like that's, or I should be doing this too. So you're helping yourself when you help others, because you're like re-emphasizing the right way to do it. So the best way to learn is actually to teach.
Showing up.
Yeah, just showing up, okay? So leveling up, okay, so some people are here, like if they just increase their attendance from just a little bit, they'll be leveling up. Just increasing the time they're here, is a level up. Communication skills, Some people are really good at talking, and some people we need to level up on our writing skills maybe, or our Spanish skills, or communicating to your teammates, or being able to express your feelings in a healthy way when you have issues to your loved ones or something like that. So communication is a skill, right? So if you're able to be like at this level of communicator, but get to this level of communicator, or even higher, and add different communication styles, methods, that's a great one. Because we are in the communication business. Agent A, Agent B, same exact lead. It's just same exact prospects. It's just how you communicate it is what determines if you get the sale or not. And then how we communicate to them is what determines if clients stay with us or not. It's really, we have nothing else to sell but our communication. Self-awareness is key. Sometimes people aren't really looking at themselves that much. It's like they're not auditing their behavior, or they're not auditing their action. So a lot of times when you're self-aware and that's when you can actually find areas to improve in. Knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at. When you don't know, that's when you're just kind of just floating out there and not showing any improvements. You want to build on your strength, work on your weaknesses, things like that. So self-awareness is key.
Being here and working,
Yeah, activity level, okay. Yeah, we always talk about that, okay. Your hustle determines your salary, so, just energy level. What am I eating, if I'm working out, if I'm sleeping right, if I'm really putting in the energy when I'm at work. So that's a surefire way to level up. For you guys, my ask is to just keep building up your building, okay? Because I generally love it. That's what makes me happy. Sometimes, like when people try to bring other people's buildings down, like once you get a tall building, then you kind of want other people to have tall buildings too. Like I get a lot of satisfaction, or really I get a lot of joy. I mean, like Laura's building and Jazz's building, as high as I get, I freaking have immense pride in that, you know. And in a sick way, I look at some of the quitters building where they're at, because maybe I'm a sicko, but you know, there's a little bit of dark side in that. A little bit of dark side. I'll be honest with you. Like, you know, as good as the guys as I promote myself to be, you know, it's not like revenge, but really like I like to see you guys succeed, because it just makes me feel like my hard work is worth it. You know, the money is worth it. You know, and to see you guys win, it just gives me a great satisfaction. So I don't think I'm asking you guys to do anything you guys don't want to do. I just want you guys to build up your building, okay? Because that's kind of how we keep this thing going. So, you know, A+ pairs, more stallions here, and then let's all level up for the people around us.
Sounds good.
All right, thank you guys.